most of the building blocks that I'm going to talk about actually already exist. And it's interesting that I mentioned Bob Cooper. One of the things that Bob Cooper says, he said, the difference between the winners and the losers isn't that the winners do it and the losers don't do it, because most of the stuff I'm talking about, organisations are doing it, they're just not doing it very well, or they're not doing it consistently. And Bob Cooper says the difference between the winners and the losers is the winners stick to their process. They are disciplined, and I'll come back to that. It's a really important point. So it's not new, the building blocks are often in place. So when we're implementing portfolio management, we're not starting from scratch. We're kind of trying to build on the building blocks that are already in place. It's not about micromanaging. It's not about taking over from the projects and programs and say, here, we are now taking charge of delivery. You've got to make sure the projects and programs still are empowered to deliver, but it's about things like addressing dependencies between projects and programs. It's about managing risks between projects and programs. It's looking at the collective whole, and we will explore that. I say it's not necessarily simple or quick. Quite often it can take quite some time to embed portfolio management, but nevertheless, if you're saying we don't expect to see any benefits for the next 5 years, I'm afraid it's not going to happen. So if we're implementing portfolio management, we've got to be looking for quick wins. And so we'll look at that a bit more. I should say it's not dependent upon project and program management maturity. And it's important to stress that, because there was a book a few years ago which said, don't even think about doing portfolio management until you have level 3 or level 4 maturity in P3M3 in project and program management. And the reason why was, if we just go back a slide, the author, or 2 slides or 3 slides, the author was talking about portfolio delivery. In other words, he was saying, you shouldn't even think about managing the portfolio from a delivery perspective until we're more mature. And that in a way makes sense. But of course, if we're saying portfolio management is also about, and more importantly, is about this portfolio definition cycle, about deciding whether we're doing the right things, then it's absolutely fundamental that we don't wait. Because otherwise, what we're saying is, let's get good at delivering the wrong things before we decide what are the right things to do, which would be insane. It's not an out-of-the-box solution. There's no simple, you don't just pick up MOP. And whilst obviously I'd be biased, very, very happy with MOP, it's not a case of just extracting a whole series of simple solutions from MOP and applying them. You have to tailor them. I said that it's not a silver bullet, it needs to be tailored to each organisation. And I say it's not software dependent. This is a quote from Matt Light at Gartner, a fool with a tool is still a fool. Organisations often spend an enormous amount of money and an enormous amount of time trying to embed or buy a software solution and embed it. Matt Light at Gartner, Anand Samwell at American Express, and myself would all say the same thing, which is governance and process come first. When you've got the governance and the process sorted, then absolutely think about a software solution, but it should never be the first thing that you do. The lesson, and I've seen it many times, organisations spending lots of money, spending 5 years trying to get the software to work. There are other things that you should be doing in the short term.